6. Developing now, major breaking news.
Donald Trump is officially the Republican nominee, and he just picked his running mate.
J.D. Vance is on the ticket. I'm DC Bureau Chief Ben Kennedy. Why the former president says he picked the Ohio senator.
I'm Roy Ramos with Trump's major legal victory. Coming up, I'll have more on why his classified documents case was dismissed.
The investigation growing into the attempted assassination of the former president. I'm Andrew Perez with what I just learned.
South Florida scorcher, the heat index reaching 112. Betty's here with a fiery forecast.
Copa America chaos. Dozens arrested at the big game. A soccer federation boss was among those arrested. I'm Janine Stanwood with the wild scenes caught on camera at Hard Rock Stadium.
Plus, welcome to our new digs. Wait until you see all of our sparkling studio.
The one and only Local 10 News starts right now.
And good evening. Off the top at 6 tonight, images from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where the Republican National Convention kicked off today, naming former President Trump as the official nominee. And we now know who will be joining him on the ticket.
Plus, major developments in Trump's classified documents case and a surprise twist, a Florida judge dismissing the charges.
Two major developments just days after the former president survived an assassination attempt.
We have live team coverage. We begin with our D.C. Bureau Chief Ben Kennedy live at the White House with a closer look at who Trump has chosen as his running mate.
Nicole, Calvin, J.D. Vance is 39 years old. He's the junior senator from Ohio and will now stand with Trump in November.
J.D. Vance is such a man.
J.D. Ohio Senator J.D. Vance was picked Monday to be former President Donald Trump's running mate in 2024.
J.D. is a living embodiment of the American dream.
Vance was endorsed by Trump in 2021 for Ohio's Senate seat. The 39-year-old will now join Trump at the top of the ticket in 2024. With about an hour after the announcement, his name was added to Trump's plane.
He will faithfully stand by President Donald Trump's side as they win this election and change the course of our nation.
The Biden campaign released a statement.
He's a clone of Trump on the issues. A clone of Trump on the issue. So I don't see any difference.
I formally declare President Donald J. Trump and J.D. Vance as the Republican nominees for President and Vice President of the United States.
Trump's two sons announced Florida's delegates, which locked down the Republican nomination for their dad, as today's decision also comes 2 days after Trump was wounded in an assassination attempt at a rally in Pennsylvania. Now, Trump will talk about the day when he gives remarks to the RNC later this week. In the meantime, when it comes to Vance, the campaign says he'll help them win Ohio and states in the Midwest. Reporting live at the White House, Ben Kennedy, Local 10 News.
Okay, Ben, thanks a lot. Here in Florida, a federal judge deciding to dismiss Trump's classified documents case, taking aim at the prosecutor who filed the charges. Local 10's Roy Ramos live now in Palm Beach with a ruling today.
Calvin, and while Judge Eileen Cannon has dismissed the case, we've already learned that Special Counsel Jack Smith does intend to file an appeal. If that appeal is granted, well, it's likely that indictment could be reinstated.
I think it's about time.
Not surprised. Not surprised at all.
Trump supporters arriving to the former president's Mar-a-Lago home as they learn Judge Eileen Cannon has dismissed the classified documents case in Florida against him.
When you look at what happened with the Biden classified documents being dropped and also the Hillary Clinton email scandal, all that was dropped. It was about time that we finally got our turn now.
You may remember the FBI executed a search warrant back in August of 2022 at Trump's West Palm Beach home. It's there federal investigators found thousands of documents, about 100, which were marked as classified. But Trump argued he believed he was free to take them under the Presidential Records Act.
People were just shocked on how the Mar-a-Lago was rated.
Cannon saying her decision was made on the basis that the appointment of Special Counsel Jack Smith violated the Constitution. Judge Cannon agreed with Trump's argument that Smith's appointment in the case violated a constitutional provision requiring officers of the United States to be appointed by the president and confirmed by the Senate. Judge Cannon said U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland appointed Smith without seeking Senate approval for that action.
This man wants to make America great again, okay?
Moments after Judge Cannon's ruling, Trump took to his social media platform Truth Social, writing in part, "As we move forward, uniting our nation after the horrific events on Saturday, this dismissal of the lawless indictment in Florida should be the first step, followed by the dismissal of all the witch hunts."
So if that appeal was successful and the indictment would be reinstated, it is highly unlikely that a trial would happen before the November election. For now, here in West Palm Beach, Roy Ramos, Local 10 News.
Roy, thank you. Also developing right now, we are learning new information about the man behind the assassination attempt on former President Trump as the FBI searches for a motive. Local 10's Andrew Perez continues our team coverage live from the newsroom.
The shooter was only 20 years old, Nicole. The FBI picking apart his internet history right now, even canvassing local gun shops. Authorities say at this point they don't even have any sort of manifesto.
We do not currently have an identified motive.
Investigators returning to the scene of the attempted assassination on former President Trump, saying it appears so far the gunman acted alone. Law enforcement sources say they've uncovered Thomas Crooks consumed some disinformation and conspiracy theories online, but finding nothing threatening so far. Crews descending on his home in Bethel Park, Pennsylvania.
How sad for his parents.
I was stunned. I mean, where is America going to now?
Crooks's AR-style rifle was purchased legally by his father back in 2013, the family cooperating with detectives. Crooks was a member of a local shooting club. He worked at a local nursing home. He was a registered Republican. The high school graduate described by classmates as lonely, quiet, and picked on at school.
He was always bullied every day. He was just an outcast. I mean, he would sit alone at lunch.
He didn't talk about politics. He kept to himself about that. And there was never anything negative that anyone had ever heard about him.
Investigators finding explosives inside Crooks's car parked outside of the rally and at his home in Bethel Park. What they haven't found is evidence of mental illness, a criminal record, or any links to extremist organizations. The Secret Service now facing questions about how he was able to get so close to Trump, less than 400 feet on a rooftop nearby.
A direct line of sight like that to the former president should not occur.
One person was killed at Trump's rally, now identified as Corey Comprator, the firefighter reportedly dying as shots rang out, trying to protect his own family. Authorities say Comprator died a hero, protecting his family. Meanwhile, we have learned that Crooks told his father on Saturday that he was headed to the shooting range and that he wanted to take that gun. Calvin?
Andrew, thanks a lot. Stay with Local 10 for more about former President Trump's vice presidential pick, the first day of the Republican National Convention, and the investigation into the assassination attempt. David Muir will anchor live from Milwaukee, coming up on World News Tonight at 6:30. And you can catch day one of the convention right here on Local 10 at 10 p.m. tonight, followed by Local 10 News at 11.
Right now, we are learning more than 24 arrests were made following the crowd chaos at Copa America Sunday at Hard Rock Stadium.
And among those arrested, the head of the Colombian Football Federation. Local 10's Janine stand with us live now from the stadium with the new details. Janine.
Calvin, they say he and his son were fighting with security. It was one of many scuffles last night. The video is wild. Some of it's tough to see. Of fans repping Argentina and Colombia for the Copa America final at Hard Rock Stadium. Most had tickets, some did not.
I don't have ticket, but I'm gonna get in.
Tell them Negro closing the gate.
And as gates open, a crush of people forcing their way past security, climbing walls, squeezing into vents.
What is going on here?
This video shows a crowd running up an escalator. You can see it's destroyed. The match was postponed for more than an hour.
I was outraged by the unprecedented events that took place.
I'm grateful, and by the grace of God, no one was hurt.
Miami-Dade County officials now calling for a review with event organizers. With extra manpower called in after the chaos, we're told there were 800 officers here. That's more than double the law enforcement for a Super Bowl. And they had their work cut out. Scores of people arrested for trespassing, now getting out of jail, some still with their jerseys on. Even the head of the Colombian Soccer Federation was arrested. He and his son are accused of fighting security guards.
We have a track record in this community of doing really big events very well. So we're going to see what happened with the stadium. They're good partners with NDPD, with Miami Gardens, and then we're going to try to make sure it never happens again.
The cleanup here at Hard Rock Stadium has been going on all day. Miami-Dade police just releasing their numbers, saying that 27 people were arrested. There were 57 ejections. That review has been ordered to happen immediately. We're at Hard Rock Stadium. I'm Janine Stanwood, Local 10 News. The videos look like mayhem. Janine, thank you. Right now, we're working a developing story in Miami. Police are investigating the death of a man whose body was found in Biscayne Bay. The call came into police after 2 o'clock this afternoon near the Rickenbacker Causeway. So far, all police are saying is that the victim is 35 years old. As soon as we get more information, we'll bring it to you. And a small plane making a rough landing at North Perry Airport. From Sky 10, you can see the plane on its belly on the tarmac. We're told nobody was hurt.
And South Florida starting the work week under a heat advisory.
The humidity making it feel like another scorcher. Some areas even saw some passing showers. Our chief certified meteorologist Betty Davis is here now to fill us in. Betty.
But not nearly enough rainfall to have a dramatic cool down over the area. We have seen these numbers, the heat index topping 100 in so many places today, including the Keys, where we have a heat index that shot up to 104 between the noon and 2 o'clock hours. And then right now it's feeling like 102 degrees. And then check out Miami-Dade and Broward. Pembroke Pines feels like 100, while Miami and Fort Lauderdale are feeling like 97 degrees. So no question about it. It's going to be a really warm evening out there. If you're looking for rain showers over Broward and Dade, you're going to be hard pressed to find one or two. These over the Atlantic waters that appear to be getting closer to us are tending to dry up, though we won't rule out a stray shower. Our forecast for the evening, it is more dry than wet. And guess what? We get ready to make the climb again tomorrow. We're going to have these feels like temperatures topping 100. This forecast model putting out 103 as the peak heat index tomorrow afternoon for Miami. But I got to admit, it's kind of nice to be focusing on the heat, the temperatures this time of the year, as opposed to a tropical system on the verge of getting its act together. And with that, let's bring in our hurricane specialist and storm surge expert, Michael Lowry. Michael, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of in relaxation mode as it relates to the tropics right now.
Yeah, Betty, July is kind of the ultimate head fake from the Atlantic because we think things are quiet and then August comes. Take a look at the number of tropical storms and hurricanes to impact the U.S., to strike the United States, going back in the record books. Notice in July, actually, we see fewer impacts to the U.S. than we do in June, but the risk doubles in August and triples by the time we get to September. So things ramp up in quite a hurry. That's the same here in Florida. You can see that we see fewer impacts in Florida in July than any month of the year. So I always tell people, if you're going to take a vacation to the beach, even down here in South Florida, July is not a bad month in the summertime to do that because we see our fewest hurricane impacts during July. Where are the areas that we look to for formation this time of year, where we kind of look all over the tropics? We see formation points farther out into the Atlantic. We see some closer to home. But the good thing, Betty, as you've been talking about the dust for a long time, that is keeping things very quiet here. The computer models are just tumbleweeds for the next few weeks. It looks like things are going to stay quiet at least to the early part of next week.
Okay, Michael, thanks a lot. A different kind of dust has cleared here in our studio. You may have noticed things have looked a little differently around here lately, and they really look different today.
And that's because for the past 6 weeks, we've been working from a temporary studio and a temporary news set, while what you see here was under construction. Take a look. Well, you just watched about 6 weeks of work in 30 seconds as we tore out our old news set and constructed this new one. Crates and crates of new high-tech equipment delivered and assembled, and here we are. Today, we are excited to unveil our new home, a very technologically advanced news set and video wall. Nearly 900 LED panels make up this massive 60-foot-long digital wall. The graphics driven by 5 computers, the newest technology to bring you sharp, big, and bold video and graphics. And thanks, of course, for hanging with us during this transition while we were working in our temporary set, and we look forward to test driving this new venue.
And hang with us, too, as we test drive our new toy. It may have a few kinks in it every now and then.
First day.
We'll get it right, but we move on here. The FBI canvassing local gun shops near Pittsburgh for any new information on the man behind the assassination attempt on former President Trump.
Plus, new video showing the moments before the shooting. It's all ahead on World News Tonight with David Muir, live from Milwaukee at 6:30.
And a wild wreck in Central Florida caught on camera, and now the search is on for the people who got away.
But first, Florida deputies capture a man wanted for at least 2 murders. Watch the takedown coming up after the break.